So you're ready to ask the biggest question of your life, the only question before that question. How do you find the perfect ring to ask it with? With the incredible selection of diamonds at Jared and our price match guarantee, you can dare to stop searching and find the perfect diamond at a price you'll love. Visit your local Jared store today and dare to be devoted.
We promise to match any price on a like loose certified diamond of the same quality from any other jewelry retailer. See jared.com/price match for details.
Blog Talk Radio.
Alternative facts.
The following message is transmitted at the request of the United States government. At 12:07 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, numerous unidentified objects of unknown intent and unknown origin were detected at high altitudes over multiple locations of Earth's outer space by the National Radio Astronomy Observatory, and these objects are presumed to be some form of controlled aircraft. It is not known if more of these aircraft will arrive, or if they will attempt entering Earth's atmosphere. United States citizens are encouraged to monitor local media outlets, as more updates will follow as information becomes available. The following message is transmitted at the request of the United States government. Attacks by the undead have been reported in several states across the country. The dead are rising from their graves and are attacking the human race. At this time, it is expected that more attacks of this nature will occur in several other states in the next few hours. The intent behind their attack is unknown at this time. He has been observed that a bite or exchange of fluids is a method of transmission. This is an extremely dangerous situation if they crave the taste of human flesh. It is not known whether this event will last for hours, days, or even longer. Stay calm, as authorities have been dispatched to deal with these creatures. An all-clear siren will be sounded when this situation is under control. Pacific Standard Time, nor is detected a long-range nuclear missile launcher. This missile is believed to be headed in the direction of all residents within a 400-mile radius of this area should seek a fallout shelter immediately.
Welcome to Within the Chaos with your host, Rodney the Viking Shortridge, co-host, Melinda the Raven Jackson. Want to give a big old shout out to the Facebook paranormal groups that allow us to post our shows on their pages and helping us to get the word out about all of our guests. Also, a shout out to the Connor sisters. Hats off to Misty and Ashley. They are the founders of SOS Sisters of Salem Paranormal Research Society and host of their podcast, Paranormal Party. You can find them on Facebook under Paranormal Party. If anyone would like to speak to Black Diamond Paranormal Society, BDPS, to discuss your paranormal questions or issues, go to our website at blackdiamondps.org or email blackdiamondps@yahoo.com. As always, our services are free.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. You can listen in by calling 516-387-1922, or you can go to the Vibe Radio Network website at blogtalkradio.com/Vibe Radio Network. For deep within the heart of the Appalachian Mountains, I'd like to welcome everyone and thank you for listening to Within the Chaos. My name is Rodney Shortridge, and I'll be your host tonight, along with my beautiful Raven, Melinda Jackson. First off, I'd like to give a shout-out to my cousins up in Ohio, Jennifer and Joe Shortridge of 222 Paranormal. If you get a chance, check out their talk show. You can find them on Facebook under 222 Paranormal.
Have your devices just randomly stopped working? Are you having IT trouble? Not to worry, Mead's PC Repair Shop can help. We also offer IT support too, including website hosting. We are now also offering full event management services. To find out more, contact our friendly customer service team who will gladly help in any situation. Just call 276-880-8900, or if you prefer, you can stop by our shop at 1089 St. Clair Street, Oakwood, Virginia, 24631 by appointment only, or by visiting the website at meadspcshop.com for more information. Thank you.
Well, howdy everyone. Lord have mercy. If we keep getting any more rain, I'm going to have to build a boat. You know what that means. But I'd like to get started with our guests tonight. They're two really great friends of ours. The beautiful Kris R.E.A.P and the sexy Bill R.E.A.P of R.E.A.P Investigations. This is normally when I ask Melinda how her week is, but she's not here because she's sick. So it tells me she's having a bad week. So I'm just going to get on to this and we get this party rocking. So it's my honor to welcome our special guests, Bill and Kris R.E.A.P. Hello, guys, and thank y'all for joining us tonight. And I hope that y'all either not too wet, too snowy, too cold, too something.
Well, it's the Northeast, so it was,
everything.
everything in one day. 54 degrees one day, 3 inches of snow the next, and then 2 inches of ice on top of it. So yeah, well, it's
a
great.
little bit of everything. How are you, Rodney?
I'm all right. Just trying to learn how to swim. all the rain that we keep getting. I mean, we had terrible winds yesterday. It knocked out like half our county's electricity, and we was out like 12 hours, 14 hours without no electricity, and my granddaughter was going crazy.
Well, I mean, you're there in those hills. I mean, you just fill up like a lake.
Yeah, a little water lake.
And don't kid me. I know you're not learning to swim. You've got a boat somewhere.
I'm a fat boy. I just float down the river. I don't need no boat. I do it with style.
There you go.
Well, can you tell everybody a little bit about y'all's selves and what got you all started in the paranormal world?
Well, let's see. Bill's an asshole. I'm a bitch.
All right. That's awesome.
Yep.
Let's see.
She's beautiful and I'm sexy.
Woo! Gee, I was blushing.
See, there you go. There again. Top priority. You gotta
you're sexy.
Right. You gotta be hot and an asshole. I mean, that's me. I'm hot and an asshole.
We've been doing this a long time, combined,
I don't even want to think about how long it's been.
I got involved when I was in high school, and, Ed and Lorraine Warren worked on a case not far from where I lived, actually next door to one of my best friends. And that kind of got me involved in, reading books and things on, Bigfoot and, ESP and all that craziness of the 70s. And that's what got me interested in this. And, I've had some, experiences on my own in different places that I lived, and, Kris did as well. And, we got together and we just clicked, and we've been out on the road investigating ever since.
He's as much a freak as I am.
Yeah. You'll always find a freak like you.
It ain't that kind of show, ma'am. Calm it down. Well, how did you two connect? And I don't mean like, you know what I mean, but I mean, how did you two, and I'm going to use another bad word, hook up with each other to get into the paranormal world?
Well, we actually met in prison.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
you're not going to elaborate on that? You're just going to leave us hanging with that?
Yeah, we met in prison, and we've been together going on almost 10 years now.
Wow, that's awesome.
He's still going, what the hell?
Yeah.
Who was in prison?
Well, no, I was just thinking, who was the guard?
Was it a bad boy or was it a bad girl?
Bad girls.
Actually, we were both state correctional officers.
Yes.
That's what I was figuring. I mean, because I know, just because I thought they kept everybody segregated, but I'm like, well, maybe up north they really put everybody together.
No, it was an all men's prison.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we met in prison, and we got to talking and about different things, and we just clicked, and we've been doing it ever since.
Yep.
That's awesome. Well, such a sweet love story. Where'd you meet? In prison?
I know. It's a great icebreaker.
It's kind of one of those typical stories of, hey, we've been together a little while. I got something strange to tell you, and you're going to think I'm a little strange probably or crazy. Oh, no, I'm just as crazy as you are. No shit. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was love at first sight.
Well, being surrounded by a lot of men, I'm sure it was, because I know when I'm around a bunch of men, you see a woman, you're like, there we go, boy. There we go.
And that's kind of exactly what he sounded like.
See? You northern guys are no more different than us southern boys.
Now, he wrote me this really sweet note and passed it to me at work. It was like being in school. He won my heart over.
Was it one of those notes where you go, I like you, do you like me? Check yes or no?
No, absolutely.
Those are always the greatest. Well, have either of you had any, unexplained or paranormal experiences, that's left a really significant mark on your life? And if so, can you describe it?
Well, there's been 3 specific ones that stand out in my head. And the first one was in Gettysburg. And we were in this house that had been a Civil War hospital, and body parts and bodies were thrown out the window, and then they were put into mass grave as they were amputating arms and legs, and men wouldn't survive, so they'd just toss them out the window because it was the quickest way to move to the next patient. And we were up there with a FLIR and a couple other pieces of equipment. And I said, hey, if you're here and you want to reach out and touch me, you can do that. I'm okay with that. And all of a sudden I felt 2 hands grab my right arm. And Bill comes over with the FLIR when I'm like, someone's holding me. And he checks, and the temperature on the arm was 7 degrees lower than the other arm. And I was like, okay, just out of curiosity, could you grab my other arm instead? And a moment later, it switched, and so did the temperature difference. And So I kind of kept pushing it because at this point I hadn't had any experiences related to my gifts. And I said, can you show me on my body how you died? And I got this shot of cold energy go from the lower back of my neck right out the lower front of my chest. And it was like, okay, he was shot from above. And so that really stood out in my head.
Yeah, but the really cool thing with that, having the thermal imaging camera on her while she was talking, you could see that one spot where she felt that she was being touched was a whole 10 degrees colder than the rest of her body. And then she asked the spirit to grab her other arm, and it switched. It was amazing.
Wow.
To see that. To see that unveil on a thermal camera is amazing.
Yeah, and to have that validation that this is what I'm feeling, and here's a piece of equipment showing me there is, these possible handprints on my arms, and they're colder than my other arm. It was really cool.
Wow. What about you, Bill? Have you had any, unexplained experiences that, left a mark on your life?
I had in doing this for a number of years, I don't, as Kris says, I started doing EVPs with a little bird tapping them out on a rock for me, because I'm old. And I was, we get complacent when we do investigations. So, we kind of tend to not always take the precautions that we should take. And, you should never really leave your guard down especially when you're in a place. And we were at the Hinsdale house, which the first day that we were there and we stayed there for a few days. And the first day we were there, it was all nice and, comfortable. And yeah, we were getting some, EVPs and, little things here and there.
And I started thinking, is this really off the hook place?
Yeah, everybody's saying, this is one of the most off the hook places you'll ever go. And the next day, we did a EVP session upstairs, and then later on we were downstairs and we were doing a spirit box session, and I smelled decomp. I started getting sick to my stomach. Nobody else smelled it. Nobody else was sick. Everybody was doing their thing. I was getting worse and worse. They said that I turned completely white, and they took me out of there. And that left a mark. I was like, damn, I shouldn't have, not got comfortable. I should have took it for what everyone said it was. And I didn't. And I'll never forget that. Won't do it again either.
Yeah, I guess not. Dang. Well, when was the first time that either one of you all seen what you consider a spirit, apparition, or ghost?
Good question.
First ghost I've seen with my eyes, not just in the third eye, would be 5 years ago, that I would say, or before that, Gettysburg.
Yes.
But this apparition of a woman in front of a fireplace in the attic, and I sat there looking at her for a few moments, and then she dropped down through the floor and was gone.
Wow.
It's kind of like, holy shit. Wish I had a camera. I was just doing a walkthrough.
I mean, I've always had the sense of, weird things going on as I was growing up, and never really saw anything. I felt a lot of things. You have that presence where, you feel like somebody moved or touched you or whatever, and you not see it. But when I got out of the military, I moved into an apartment, and it was a basement apartment. There were two apartments on the basement. The upstairs, had three or four apartments, I forget. But we were there, and the one bedroom had a window, and when you opened the window, it went to like a crawl space. It was closed in. It was a weird place to put a window. But for fire code, they had to put a stairway in for people to be able to get out, from the upstairs. So there was a metal grate, like a pull-up door, like a storm door. And so we opened it, of course, and went into the sub-basement and found like all kind of old funeral stuff. And when in talking to, so then after we did that, some weird things started happening, in the apartment. And the one night, in the living room, they had sliding doors in the closet, and they were open, and the room was filled with smoke. I thought my roommate maybe, fell asleep with a cigarette or whatever. And when I turned the light on, the smoke went right into the closet and the doors closed. Now the closet was on the same side of the wall where the stairwell was that went down into the sub-basement. So that was kind of creepy, and that was kind of weird and unexplained. So we had to start figuring out what it was, and we found out that the house next door was a funeral parlor. And where we were was the embalming area.
Oh.
And that was way back in the 80s.
Well, I want to go back to the EVPs. A lot of people like yourselves and everybody that does this, use audio recorders while they're doing an investigation. Have you been able to, during an investigation, like have a conversation other than just you ask a question, you get a yes or no answer. Instead of that, you actually get more than just a yes or no. Like they're really trying to communicate.
Well, some of them, are just a couple words, and you ask follow-up questions hoping to get, more information, and get nothing worthwhile. We've had a couple EVPs that we've had help me on. We were in Shepherdstown, and Bill was at a gravesite, and I was filming him, and he asked, it was a Revolutionary War soldier, and he said, Roger, are you here with us? And on playback, clear as day, yes, sir. And then we asked, there was a woman, Elizabeth, next to his site, and we said, who is Elizabeth to you? Figuring she was probably his wife, and on playback, we get wife.
Wow.
And then that's it.
And that was broad daylight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that I've heard.
Spirits said, everybody thinks you can only communicate with spirits in the dark. It's not true. Spirits around us all the time.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I've noticed. That's one thing I tried to, when we're doing investigations or talking to somebody, when we're doing a pre-investigation, is trying to find out the time that a lot of these events are going on. And, I would say about 40% of them are during the day.
Yep.
Do you all run into that too?
Yeah, I think some of our clearest EVPs have been caught during the day. I think we get some great EVPs at night, but I think some of our clearest have been during the day, where it's like I know exactly what they said, and everyone who hears it hears the same thing.
Do you have a theory on why that could be?
Not a clue.
As she was...
Maybe I've had enough coffee. I don't know.
What do you mean? Why more during the day?
Right.
Yeah. Why are they more clear?
By saying that, I was like, we ghost hunt. We investigate at night and in the dark because we want to heighten our senses. So, when you take away one sense, your other senses become stronger. But, we all are of the belief that, it takes energy for a spirit to communicate. There's a hell of a lot more energy going on during the day than there is at night. So if they are able to draw, and I believe they are, from other objects, that's possibly why we get more activity during the day. It's because there's more energy around during the day. We're utilizing more things, more hustle, more bustle.
The energy of the sun.
Yeah.
More hustle and bustle around.
Right.
Who knows?
I was just thinking that why you were saying that. I was like, wow, that's an interesting thing.
It could also be. I've often wondered if it's just because where they're used to, more people are up during the daytime hours than nighttime hours.
Yeah, that too. I mean, I'd be curious. I'd want to follow people around. I don't want to watch them sleep. I want to see what they're doing during the day.
Not me. I want to freak people out. I want to wake them up in the middle of the night and be like, "Boo! I'm here, bitch."
I've always told everybody, when I die, I'm gonna come and get them while they're in the shower. You're gonna feel something rubbing your back. You're gonna be like, "What the hell? It's just me."
I've got my list of people I'm going to haunt, and then those I'm going to be like, "Hey, how are you?"
Well, how many investigations have you all participated in? Within the years that you all been doing investigations.
A few hundred.
I think more than that. In the last 2 years alone, we've done close to 200.
Yeah.
We've been constantly go.
Yeah, our house is a pit stop.
Yeah, it really is. And we have March completely free, other than one event at the end of the month.
No, we have one at the beginning of the month, one at the end of the month. We're kind of free the 2 weeks in between.
And those 2 weeks just got taken completely up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's like, tonight, we're here talking with you, and in a few hours, we'll be getting up to get on our way to the Rochester Winter Parafest. We're going up to Rochester, New York. And our good friend and teammate Amy Green is coming up from New Orleans. She's going to meet us out there. And, they got a great lineup of paranormal people coming out. And, we're going to do a little investigation at the Avon Hill Inn. Yeah. So it's going to be a great weekend, 3-day weekend there.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Looking forward to it.
Well, Kris, what is your opinion, on the strengths and weaknesses of women in the paranormal?
Oh boy. Weaknesses. Women can be extremely emotional. But I think, on the other hand, it's also being emotional, I think, is an extremely good thing. I don't think there's really any strength or difference compared to men. I think there's more women in the paranormal who are gifted than there are men. There's a number of very gifted men in the paranormal, but I think more women are gifted than men, so it opens us up to another side of the paranormal that those who aren't gifted don't get to experience. It gives us a little bit more edge to kind of fill in some of those blanks. I don't really think that men and women in the paranormal, that there's one is more beneficial over the other. With child spirits, I think that a lot of women can get more reaction from child spirits than men can, for the simple fact that, when you're hurt or sick, who do you want? You want your mommy. Man, woman, it doesn't matter. You want your mommy. So I believe that as women, we can into that motherly instinct, and young spirits can be drawn to that. But I really don't feel there's anything that puts us above men or men above us. I think this is really a field where it's a very equal playing field.
Okay. Well, Bill, what's your opinion about the strengths and weaknesses of men in the paranormal?
Strengths and weaknesses. I think that there's a lot of ego in the paranormal, and that goes both men and women, I think, but, mostly men.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, a lot of men really don't view women in the paranormal as an equal at times, and I think they're really missing the boat because there's a lot of very, very, very talented women in the paranormal. I think that we need to kind of, stop trying to claim areas and start sharing evidence if that's what we're in this for. And, we need to put, stop. It's not a measuring contest every day, You know what I mean? It's like, hey, I'm going to put mine out on the table. It'd be like, yeah, okay, whatever, but.
I just thought of one area that men might be stronger than women. I think men are more technologically advanced or driven than the women are. And so there's more men in the field developing equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And
I agree with that. And I agree with that because of this reason. And you hit on it, Chris. You said men don't have, that sensitivity, that abilities that women have. So we have to make up with more power. So, yeah, we are a little bit more, technical, and, women are not as technical as men at times.
So you guys need more of the equipment to give you more of that instant gratification.
Does this run by batteries or is it plugging?
I think the biggest problem with men, the biggest strength is that we are, men do take a little bit more chances. They do kind of, forge on, the hunter-gatherer kind of thing, mentality. But they also have ego, and that's the biggest weakness. And
that's the men's biggest weakness.
That's the men's biggest weakness.
Now, I've also seen women and men in a group, and someone goes, there's a dark hole in the basement wall, and people were tortured in there, and it's said to be that you'll get smacked around if you go in there. And I've seen women push men out of the way to get into that hole.
I was pushed out of the way by some women to get in. I mean, all right, Rodney, you know the Southern Gypsies. You know the Connor sisters. You know the Southern Gypsies.
You're right.
Okay. You have not had the pleasure of meeting Amy Green yet or Michelle LeBaron.
Right.
How would you like to, you're aware of the Bel Air house, correct?
Yes.
Would you be locked in for 5 days in the Bel Air house as the only man with all of those women?
Yes.
Well, I was.
Rodney's a brave man.
I was.
Rodney's got techniques and styles, man. It would go way before.
I will be calling you for backup the next time.
Just let Pimp Daddy Rock come on in there and help you out. That ain't no problem.
Yeah, I know more things than I ever imagined. But no, and it was awesome to work with them. It was awesome to work with them. Yeah, I learned a lot about women. More than I needed to. But it was amazing to work with them. I learned so much from each and every one of them as they were there, and it was awesome. And it was the second time that we did kind of an experiment there, utilizing strong women of the paranormal. And I do believe that the group that was there is definitely some of the most strongest women in the paranormal. And it was amazing. And I learned a lot from them. Learned a lot on technique. Learned a lot on how to be a little bit more sensitive.
And he learned how to do a full facial and makeup.
Yes. Ashley taught me how to put the, what are those on?
False
eyelashes on. Yeah, I could do that now.
Wow. What a learning experience.
He can now walk in 6-inch stilettos.
Yep.
Way better than I can.
I bet you look awesome in a garter.
Yep. Tell you what, when we come down, I'll shave my leg for you.
Oh, shit.
All right. Hell yeah. Equal opportunists, man. Equal opportunists. That kind of goes into my next question, but, you kind of explained a little bit of your techniques, but what are your techniques? And such as when you're working on an investigation, do you go into it scientific, religious, metaphysical, or maybe a spiritual based on the information you have?
Excellent question. Depending on what we're investigating, if it's, a private residence, there, the protocols are a little bit different. Based than if we're going into, a location that is, more predominantly known for being haunted, and we're just staying there for a few days or whatever, and investigating that. I mean, there's two different ways of going into it. The first thing we do is, either side is we have a phenomenal researcher.
Oh, man.
Heidi Fritz Martinez rocks. I mean, she is an incredible researcher. She leaves no stone unturned. She is like a dog with a bone. She finds, and she doesn't stop. I mean, we could be on location and she's still digging. Something will happen and she'll go looking to try to prove or disprove it. So she shares that really only with myself and sometimes Stephen Teig, who's our tech guy, our tech specialist, and a little bit with Amy, but Amy likes to go around, and Mish like to go with Kris all the time, and Janet, and so they kind of don't want to know as much of the history and what's going on there, because they're using their abilities and things like that to kind of prove and disprove things. So it's amazing. I mean, the process. And then we go, I go in as a skeptic every time I go into a home. I don't believe it's haunted. You could tell me that it's off the hook, Bobby Mackey's, you're going to meet, a demon in the basement. And I'd be like, yeah, when I see it, I'll believe it. And that's how I go in. And we run baseline testings, throughout the building. We look, we measure temperature, we measure humidity, we measure, the EMF fields, we look for static fields. We've even gone in some places to we've done barometric pressure. We've even gone in with a Geiger counter at one or two locations, just to try to, let's knock out everything that we can, and understand what we're dealing with, and then move on from there.
Right, and while Bill's doing that, I'm usually doing a walkthrough with whichever other team member is with me, giving our impressions of what impressions we're getting throughout the house. Are we sensing stronger energies in this room or that room, or is it on this floor or that floor? And what our impressions are, so that we could say, we'd really like to focus on this room in the attic for a while, because we're getting really strong sensations.
And if it's a private residence where we're, being called in to try to help a homeowner, before we even go in there, which, in my book, The Paranormal Field Manual, I do have our questionnaire that we use is in the book, where we ask a series of questions before we even go in there, trying to, get a baseline. Then we'll go in and we'll do an interview before we do an investigation, a face-to-face interview, re-ask a lot of those same questions and look for similarities or things that are maybe gone sideways. I'm a big one to go, I really got to go to the bathroom. I'm old. Can I use your bathroom? And then, while you're in there,
keep interviewing.
And Kris will keep interviewing. I'll pop the medicine cabinet open. I'm not, and say, okay, are they on any psychotropics or anything in here? Sometimes when you go in and, the daisies are in the water bong, it's still not a vase in the middle of the table. So, you got to look at what you're getting into. So, we're very, very thorough on that, and we look.
Yeah, we're very thorough.
It depends on, and again, I mean, going into a place like the Hinsdale House or the Bel Air House or the Ferry Plantation is something totally different than going into a residential. So the protocols are a little bit different. They're similar but different.
Okay. Well, what type of tools or equipment do you use? I know you mentioned a lot of the measuring equipment that you use, but as far as type of cameras and audio equipment, and what is y'all's favorite piece of equipment that y'all do use on an investigation?
Ourselves and EVP players.
Yeah, I mean, I feel, so those are, everybody on our team, if you ask them that question, they all say the same thing. You're your own best piece of equipment. You're going to feel things, see things, hear things. You know your body, the temperature changes, what's going on. As far as, I carry a recorder everywhere I go. And so does everyone on our team. We're constantly time stamping. So a recorder, is a must. Something goes on that way, when we're reviewing things, we kind of look for times and try to go back to those times to see if, in different locations of the house, did we have something go on at all of those locations at the same time, things like that. We do, we're old school and new school. So, we got a wide array of toys, and we'll try a little bit of everything.
Then we like to have the different aspects in order to back each other up. If I'm getting something, perfect example was Gettysburg, when I was in one room and I was using the pendulum and my gifts, and I was using the pendulum to ask questions based on what I was sensing, and I was getting the name Beth, and getting confirmation through the pendulum. And Bill and another guy were in the other room using the echo box, and they were getting Beth coming through the echo box at the same time.
So it's great validation. And, we'll take different pieces of equipment. Like we were at the Fairbanks House in Massachusetts, which is the oldest wooden structure in North America. Really, really cool house. No electricity.
It was cold.
It was November, right after that big snowstorm in November.
Than a witch's tit in a brass bra.
Yeah, and it was warmer outside than it was inside the house, believe it or not. And, we had a static dome. We had a periscope going off. We had dowsing rods going crazy.
EMF,
K2, everything hitting at the same time, which was amazing. And we were able to, we were utilizing, a periscope to communicate with it and the dowsing rods, and it was awesome. And now you have two totally different pieces of equipment. One, battery operated, one not. One is strictly energy. And we were, to get that validation of pieces of equipment, was amazing. And that place was awesome. Can't wait to go back there. Wow. I'm a little warmer weather.
Yeah. After you freeze your balls off at a location, you learn to go when it's warmer. I've learned to.
You know what? I wouldn't have traded that day though.
Oh, it was
that
great.
place was amazing.
It was cold, but we got so much going on that night. It was great.
And then from there we went to the Longfellow House, the oldest inn in North America, and we had some tremendous. By far the best photograph I have ever taken or seen.
Total fluke.
Which was a total fluke because I'm a flag guy.
Wow.
Guys, I have to take pictures.
Well, have you noticed anything about when you're at these locations, especially these very historical sites where 1600s, 1700s, 1800s. Have you ever got any evidence as far as EVPs or anything that would go back further, say 1500s, 1100s, or anything like that?
Not. There was one location that Children's Theater.
Oh, yeah.
Where we were getting French.
Yeah, don't know where that came from.
And, there were, the area we were in that valley really wasn't developed till developed until the mid 1700s. But there were fur traders, moving up and down through there along the Appalachian Trail, because we're on the north end of the Appalachian Mountains. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of French that in our research came out that would have been more in the 1600s.
Well, that's something I've often, and I've read a lot and studied a lot of different groups, and no one's really came up with any evidence of anything that dates back maybe 200-300 years. I wonder, is there a reason why? Because with so many people that have passed away throughout, thousands of years that we've been on this mm-hmm. planet, it looks like we would be constantly getting EVPs from different way back time periods also, unless maybe they move on or dissipate, that energy moves on or something. I mean, what do you think about that?
Maybe we're just not understanding it.
That was one thought I was having, or like you said, Rodney, that, spirit moves on. And I think at some point, all spirit moves on, whether it's to another life or whether it's to being a guardian over the living. At some point, spirit moves on. But again, we've gotten EVPs where it sounds like conversation, but no clue what it is. It just sounds like a garbled mess. Maybe it's a language we don't understand. Maybe it's something pre-civilization.
Or pre-English or whatever.
Right.
I mean, that's where you kind of need to be able to do your research. But, even though you're at a 1700 location, you may get somebody who was in the 20th century or 21st century. Mm-hmm. That comes through as a spirit there. Just because you're in Gettysburg doesn't mean you're going to get a Civil War soldier.
Yeah, the theater we did where the woman had died 6 months prior to the investigation.
Came through.
Very attached to that location. She made costumes and she kept the kids in line, and she was very much a part of that theater. And 6 months after her death, we were getting.
Mm-hmm. Well, have you or do you know of anyone that has captured an EVP of a Native American?
Not an EVP per se. We were at the Hinsdale house, and I was doing some B-roll around the house while everyone else was still, snoozing along, and I was like, okay, it's quiet. I'm going to go get some B-roll, and I went up on the hill behind the house where there's feathers and beads, and they're strung in the tree to honor the Native Americans that have been on that land. And it was very quiet, it was very calm and peaceful. And I came in and uploaded the video, played it back, and there was Native American flute music playing, which wasn't playing by the audible ear when I was up there.
Mm-hmm. Something, another area that I've kind of looked into, and, of all the places that we've been to, and I know people like you that traveled all over the East Coast and all over the country, you would think that there would be more EVPs of Native Americans, but I'm having a hard time finding anything like that. And I wonder, could it be because they're more spiritual people and they're able to move on to wherever they're moving to compared to other people?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say so. We've got a lot of Native American friends, and I know some of them have caught EVPs in Native American language. I've known a couple people who have, and they were at very spiritual locations. But if you look at the history of the white man and the Native American, look what we did to the Native American and their land. We came in and we took their land and we killed off, well, not we, our ancestors did, and took their land and killed them off and put them on reservations. And so the trust between Native American culture and the white culture is not one built on trust.
Plus, it's a different language. I mean, we may hear something that sounds like Shumani Tutanka, okay? If you heard that,
if it's not real clear.
If it's not real clear, Shumani Tutanka. Even saying it, you wouldn't take that as a language. And I just said wolf in Lakota. So, maybe we are catching EVPs and we're just too ignorant to understand what they are.
That's a good point. Well, in y'all's opinion, what do you think a demon is? And, have you all experienced the demon? And if so, can you explain what the experience was like?
Demon, tough question. Demon is, well, I kind of feel like in order to believe in demons, you have to believe in Satan, and being a pagan, I don't believe in Satan or hell. If I'm going to classify something as demon, I'd say something that hasn't walked this earth as a living being. More likely the culmination of a whole lot of negative energy coming together and creating its own. I mean, energy can't be created or destroyed, but it can be changed. It can transform. So if you have, my mind just went blank. The Holocaust, where so many were wrongly killed, all that negative energy, I believe, could come together and form something extremely strong that is stronger than anything people have dealt with. So they feel it's demonic. I hate using the D word because it's thrown around so much. And I think it's very rare that you ever come across anything that would be classified as a demon.
I agree with that.
First of all, in my own personal belief, okay, demon is very much part of organized religion, whether it's Judaism, Muslim, Christian, okay? Those are where the references to demons come from. The other religions really don't have them. If you look at a lot of the things that happen, a lot of the things that we've learned through the push of organized religion, and them taking things that the common folk had and then translating it into their belief system. So, but I also believe that energy to create something, think it, and you'll manifest it. Edison felt that way. So many brilliant scientists and theorists thought, hey, if you could, create it, just think of it, and you could create it. So if you have all of these people who believe that whether it's heaven or hell or demons, and you had 1 million people thinking and focusing on what that is, they are actually manifesting that energy.
Well, I also think there's some of the demon, quote unquote,
Or just malevolent
are
energy.
Are malevolent energy that they don't understand, or they haven't dealt with a malevolent energy that strong. And there's a huge difference between malevolent and demonic.
Yes. I mean, if you really think about it, I mean, everybody saw the movie Ghost with Patrick Swayze.
Mm-hmm.
And remember when he was learning to be a ghost and he was trying to push the penny? Mm-hmm. And he ended up flipping the table over, and they were like, "Oh my God, it's a demon!" Whoopi Goldberg went crazy. It's a demon. And it wasn't. It was just misunderstood. A lot of it could be just Aunt Ethel trying to talk to us, and we're not listening to her. And frustration. I mean, they were living beings. They have emotion. They feel frustration.
Yeah, so, that's true.
I hope that answered your question.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's good. So what is your opinion on why, these spirits still linger and not move on to whatever we move on to after death?
Curiosity.
Answer. That's a good answer.
I think there's so many reasons. I mean, there could be the classic unsolved business, something they've left unfinished, not knowing that they've passed. I think some spirits move on and come back. I think some are here to guide us. I believe there's many roles that are taken after death. And some don't want to move on. Some are, clinging to this earth, whether it be a loved one or something that was important to them that they want to see come to fruition. Or they may just, be hanging out like, hey, I really liked life and I want to hang out some more.
Well, what about reincarnation? A lot of people, I know you've heard stories and seen shows where they've talked about they've been seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Could that actually be the birth canal that they're seeing?
Could be.
We don't know.
Could be. I haven't come across it in any past life regressions. But I think that's a very likely possibility.
I mean, we need to be open to all possibilities because, there are no definitive answers.
I'm a huge believer in past lives. I believe we live as many lives as we need to learn everything we're supposed to before we truly move on to being there to guide someone or moving on to another realm or dimension. I truly believe that there's more to learn than you can learn in one possible lifetime.
So do you think that plays a part in deja vu?
Yes. I think it also plays a huge part in when you meet someone and you know them. And you've never met them before, but you know them. And that connection is there from the word go. I believe that's someone we've met in a past life. And I think some of the hauntings are actually other souls that recognize our soul, but they haven't reincarnated yet. And they recognize our soul. And they're like, hey, it's me. You
energy,
remember me.
Yeah.
And we're in this lifetime, so we don't carry conscious memory of that previous lifetime.
Energy recognizes energy, absolutely. Like energy goes to like energy.
Okay. Well, are there any teams or individuals, in the paranormal field that they're inspirational to you, and if so, can you explain what impact they've had on you?
Good question. There's a few. One is Michelle LeBaron. Mish is absolutely probably the most positive, upbeat, loving person in this field. And, when I'm having a bad day, I turn to Mish's good morning videos, and it just kind of gets the day started off right, or the end of the day, watch something she's posted where I get a good laugh, and she's just truly pure love, no drama to her, and she's truly a genuine person.
Okay. What do y'all find, the most challenging when you're doing an investigation?
People. The living.
This is true.
and again, it depends on, are you talking a private residence, or are you talking about, you and your team just going out doing an investigation at a historically haunted location,
or doing an event,
where
you're wrangling 90 people.
Yeah.
With the examples that you just laid out there, you pick the one you feel like you want to answer.
I pick the one I want to answer. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk private residences, because I think so many teams just jump into the paranormal and think that they could go in and help somebody, and they sometimes leave a bigger mess than what was there. We need to understand that they are, we're entering people's lives. We're going to go home, and they still have to live there, and we need to recognize that. So we also need to be very careful when we go into private residences, because you don't know where you're going. You don't know what you're getting into. Everyone on our team has background clearances, every one of them, and that's important. And if someone who's listening thinking, hey, I want to bring a team in, ask that question. Do you have criminal background checks? I mean, you may think it's silly, but I mean, you should have it.
And ask to see them before you invite them into your home.
Or and if there's children involved, do they have child clearances? You could, in this day and age, you could get your own clearances done, and have them and carry them with you in a little portfolio. It's no big deal. But but you also need to, understand that you're dealing with people when you're doing a private residence. And, sometime, we did a private residence not too long ago. Well, it is long now. It seems like yesterday. It's a couple of years ago. And the woman was wheelchair bound. She had, a whole bunch of different things. Was there activity in her house? Yes, there was. Was it what she thought it was? No. We were there for, and another thing is you're not in a house, and when you're doing private residences, it's not a one in and out kind of deal. Sometimes it is, when you find out that, the water bottle that she was sipping on all day was vodka and not water. You need to be alert and aware, and you need to look at things. So, when you get into a private residence, I mean, you could be walking into, to a meth lab, but how the hell do you know? Somebody could have a gun, crazy,
Yeah, you might find a skeleton in the closet that you really wish you
haven't found. So, you got to be careful, and you got to remember you're dealing with people, and people have agendas. So some are there's a lot of people out there who are just looking for help and looking for answers. And then there's others out there who are just looking to get on a TV show. I want my property on a TV show.
Being armed isn't necessarily a bad idea most of the time on private residence.
So, it's interesting, you got to be careful. You got to use your head.
Well, what kind of mistakes have you all made during an investigation?
Let's see. One investigation, the mic on the camera never got turned on.
Yep.
Lost a whole lot of really good footage. Forgetting batteries.
Yeah.
Forgetting to charge something.
Yeah.
Not doing a walkthrough, and your first time walking through is in the dark with, your little headlamp on and tripping over something. Walking into an area filled with black mold that, someone ends up with the respiratory issues.
Mm-hmm.
There's all kinds.
Yeah, I mean,
you could get into all kinds of trouble.
We take things for granted all the time.
Biggest mistake is becoming complacent.
Complacency. Yep.
Well, so y'all have not made the mistake of having a camera on a bathroom and somebody walks in and don't shut the door and just drops trouser?
Oh no, we had that in a bedroom, and it happened the first day with the husband. He completely forgot, dropped trowel, and then the wife. And then the next day, the husband started to, and one of the girls was watching the DVR system and screamed, "No!"
Uh-oh.
And someone ran upstairs and banged on the door, and it was like, it was even funnier because it had happened the day previously to the spouse, and you figure once, okay, second time it's like, really? You forgot again? Every time we went into our room, we unplugged the camera.
Absolutely. Throw a sheet over it.
Well, one time we were doing an investigation in a cemetery, and I went back to the tent to watch the monitor, and everybody was out doing their thing. All of a sudden, I seen one of the cameras moving. I mean, it was moving violently. Next thing I seen was a ball sack, and I yelled at ball sack, and it was so loud, everybody heard it through the valley. And, the guy that did it was laughing so loud. I mean, and I'm like, oh, I was just cussing and raising mortal hell. So,
no, we never had that.
Well, I did, and it was unexpectedly too, because it was really quiet that night. Everybody was really, focused, and all of a sudden he just cut that tension with his ball.
There's one in every group.
I love the guy to death. He ain't in the group no more, but I still love him to death.
Yeah.
Well, have either one of you all been afraid on a location?
I don't think really afraid. I think there was one location that put me on edge, and I walked out grounded, and I was having heart surgery shortly after that, and I said, you know what? I'm going to sit and watch the monitor. I'm not playing with that energy.
And I've never really gone into a location that I was afraid to go into.
No, I haven't found one yet that I'm like, I really don't want to be there. I've had one or two that I was like, I don't want to be there, but not because I was afraid of them, just something else didn't sit right.
Yeah, I've ran into those. Well, what's the best evidence that y'all have captured on audio, video, or still camera?
Still camera would be the misty apparition in Gettysburg.
No, I think Jerusha's picture is way better than that.
Jerusha's picture, that really.
That was recent. That was
recent. Really good.
Yeah, we had a misty apparition that we got probably 9 years ago in Gettysburg.
Yeah.
That we thought was really, really cool.
But this one is just.
But this one we did in November.
I think Bill posted
at the
it
Longfellow
couple months
Wayside Inn. Yeah, it was in November.
So that got posted.
That photo blew my mind, and it was a photo that I was taking. I was in the upstairs hallway. There was a Revolutionary flag hanging out in front of the house, and it looked really cool through the window. And I just wanted to take a picture of it the way that it was flapping in the breeze. And I took the picture and I posted it. And I mean, I didn't even look at it. I mean, it wasn't that I took the picture that I was like,
someone else.
And someone else saw it and was like, "That's a great catch." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And they sent me the photo with the circle on it back, and I'm like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
So that's been a flurry of
a
researcher going ballistic, Stephen going crazy, and everybody trying to figure out
that's a
what
really
it was.
Amazing picture. It's a reflection in a window of a spirit. Because the photo's looking out over the overhang of the entryway below, and the flag is mounted there, and it overlooks the driveway, and in the hallway there was no one there. And in the image there's about 5 different images
that you could see faintly,
that.
But there's one in the lower.
There's one, it looked like she was sitting in front of the camera, live and in person. But her image was on the opposite side of the window, because when you look at it, the frame of the window, the crisscross, she's behind that crisscross. So it's an amazing photo.
It was amazing. That was probably the best photographic evidence we've ever got.
Audio-wise, I'd have to say the best are the EVPs Bill gets. Bill can get EVPs all day long. They'll talk to him constantly. I often try to do EVPs, and I get crap. They don't talk to me through EVP. And I want to believe it's because they communicate other ways, and not that they're just like, fuck you.
You did get that one EVP that said your name, and then when it said to, when I asked what my name was,
that was
said,
over the
me?
box using one of the apps.
Who's he?
Yeah, it called me by name, and then Bill walked in the room and it said, "Who's he?" And I laughed. I'm like, yes. They recognized me and not him.
Hey. Well, what about film?
On video?
Oh, a door opening on its own at the White Hill Mansion.
In New Jersey, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, better yet, the orb. That also was at White Hill Mansion. Yeah. We had just gotten the trigger object dog that lights up. And I was filming, and this orb came across the room, came up the leg of the table, and when it got to the dog's backside, it started to blink and flash and make noise, and the orb came across the entire length of the body, and when it left the nose, the dog shut down, and it didn't go off again for another 20 minutes.
Wow.
And we don't put a lot of credence in orbs, but that was a distinct movement.
Oh, it was, the dog lit up when that orb came to the back end of it. And it was like, if anyone says boo about orbs, that's the one thing that I will go, you know what? Yeah, most of them are garbage. Most photographs of orbs are garbage. I like video. Show me the motion. But this, I no explanation except that is absolutely an orb.
Wow. Well, what's the strangest and weirdest cases that y'all investigated?
Ooh. Well, one of them has to be the vodka and woman.
Yeah.
We do very in-depth interviews prior to and when we arrive there, and I often do the interviews, especially if it's women or children, and I'll explain that some of these questions are going to get extremely personal, but you need to be very honest so we know what we're dealing with, and we're going to ask you about drugs and sex and rock and roll and the whole works. And we get there, and I'm going through the list of questions, and asking her to tell me about her experience. And
well, you went into the bedroom and you were doing an EVP session in there, and she went in with you, didn't she?
Yeah, later in the evening. But I asked her about, what was going on, and she kept saying she kept getting attacked in bed sexually. And I was like, okay, tell me about it. And she says, is it strange that I kind of like it? And I was like, I didn't know what to say to this woman because I don't want to offend her. But on the other hand, in my head, I'm going, are you freaking kidding me? So I just went, I guess good sex with a ghost is better than bad sex with a human? I don't know. It's just kind of, okay. And that night I got called all kinds of names through the spirit box. I got called everything from a whore to Jezebel to an outright bitch and then some. But yeah, as the night went through, we realized she was getting more and more out of control, and we're calling this thing out, and it's calling me names, and she walks in the room, and I said, does the name Edward mean anything to you? And she's like, Edward? And she sits down, and she's got her face right by the spirit box, and she's going, Edward, I thought you loved me. How could you do this? Okay. All right, it's time to go. Turns out there was a whole lot more there than spirits.
There were spirits in
spirits
in the bottle form.
Spirits in the bottle, spirits in the pill bottle. I mean, it was just a mess. And wow. She did have activity there, but we couldn't get any confirmation of what she was saying. And at one point she said, oh, here's this ticking, and it's trying to say something, and we're like, that's someone typing on the keyboard of their phone. No. And I said, give me your phone. Tap, 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 tap. Exactly what we were hearing. And no, this was the ghost. Okay, I think she had other teams there previously, and one of them had offered her money for a show at some point.
And that's what she was looking for.
She was looking to get on the show, and it was like, yes, calling us ain't going to get you there.
Wow. Well, how do y'all feel about paranormal groups today, compared to when you all started investigating?
Well, I think there's a lot of really good groups out there, and I think you could learn from anyone. I mean, we do a lot. I mean, we travel a lot. But the one that really got me the most was we were at the Ferry Plantation in Virginia Beach, which I absolutely love the Ferry Plantation. Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful museum. Oh. I mean, they let me touch and play Thomas Jefferson's piano. The place is absolutely gorgeous. It's steeped in history. There's so much going on there. And upstairs, houses of that time period, served many purposes. And at one point in time, it was the local magistrate, the judge, was there. So court was held there upstairs. And there was a slave quarters above that in the attic. And they recently had unearthed, some slave tags and a call box, a servant call box. I don't know if you're familiar with them at all. A little speaker in the little tube in the wall going up. And which was kind of cool. And we were up there doing our thing, and it was we had a lot of new people, who never investigated, and a lot of what Kris and I and Stephen and Janet and Heidi and Mish and Amy do is teach people, who are new. We'll let them use our equipment. Here, walk around with our SLS camera. This is how it works. This is how things go. And we were in a location. We were doing an EVP session. We got some pretty interesting responses that were very military. And, the voice, we were using a spirit box, and the voice coming through the box was very direct. It was like, it said Kris, and we thought it was referring to our Kris, and we said, we'll go get her. No, him. And we're like, him? Is somebody here named Kris? And the guy raises his hand. Okay. Another gentleman was over by the stairway, and his lanyard was getting tugged in his pocket. He had a lanyard, hanging out of his pocket, ID badge. And then it was, you upstairs. Who? Bill, upstairs. Kris, upstairs. This other guy. And we're like, wow, that's pretty weird. And we were, after we were done, we were outside talking. There was a woman there. First time she's ever gone on an investigation. And, she spoke to us later, and we were outside talking amongst ourselves because we were trying to figure this thing out. And everybody that it called, the box referred to, was ex-military. We're like, okay. And, we're trying to figure this whole thing out. Like the guy with the lanyard, it was his actual badge. I mean, he was, in Norfolk, he was active. It was his ID. And the other guy just came, just retired. And, so it was interesting. And, we're trying to figure out, he was telling us, we were watching the slave tags move in this room. They were actually swinging. And, as this was going on. And when we were trying to figure this all out, we were like, oh, wow, we're all military. This is interesting. What's going on? Why? You're right on the waterfront. We're trying to figure out the historical significance to it. And this woman says to us, she says, well, those slave tags were moving. Yes. She says, and the one thing that you all have in common are your dog tags. Dog tags and slave tags look almost identical. You are all property. And that's why that she felt, and I was like, wow, I never looked at it that way.
Wow.
Yeah, but there's a lot of really great groups out there. And then there are the fly-by-night groups that, they come out on the scene and
I got a black T-shirt, the Facebook page. I'm a paranormal investigator.
And they're there for a little while and then they disappear. You've got groups who are going into private residence with only a couple years under their belt or not even, and they're doing more damage than good. Then you've got groups who can go in and clean up that stuff. Mm-hmm. You've got the groups who are all about the drama. They want to see drama spread throughout the community, and that's their main goal. But I think for the most part, all the drama boils down to a few groups in each area. And for the most part, there's a lot of really good groups out there.
Yeah, you could learn from anybody. Talk to people. That's the big thing. If you go to a PowerCon like, Phantom Fest, and you had some really, really great teams that were there, and I loved talking to them and exchanging ideas, and that was awesome. We're going to be at, Rochester Winter Parafest this weekend. Can't wait to get there. There's some really good people that are going to be there, as speakers and such, but it's going to be a great time to, exchange ideas. And that's phenomenal. Salem Con in April, same thing. You get together with a lot of people who really, truly are passionate about the paranormal and are open to the exchange of ideas.
Yeah, that's true. Well, what are some of your favorite places that y'all have investigated, and what places, that you haven't been to across the country that you'd like to go
to? There's a long list of ones I want to go to. Yeah. Right at the top, for me, it's the Winchester House.
And for me, it's Alcatraz.
I want to see the Winchester House. But some of our favorite places, the Fairy Plantation is right up there.
Penhurst was awesome. Hinsdale.
I can't think of any place I didn't really enjoy.
Exactly. There's so many awesome, and we go for the off-beaten hidden gems too. Mm-hmm. The stuff that not everybody has gone to. And, that's important. There's a couple that, I'm looking forward to. Greystone Manor, I'm looking forward to going up to.
Mr. Ed's Elephant
Mr. Ed's
Museum and Candy Emporium was awesome.
Yeah,
that place was great.
Yeah, we investigated an elephant museum and candy store.
Spent a shitload of money on candy.
Wow. That was a lot of fun. And, every place it has something special and unique about it.
We've started investigating our house. All kinds of stuff happening lately. A recorder that we have with us at Lord Baltimore, and Bill went through all the equipment afterwards.
I was flipping.
Raging that somebody walked off with his recorder and crying about it and bitching, and it was like, oh my God, it will turn up. It's got to be somewhere. He went through everything. We're going to leave, and someone's going to have it with them. And we got home, and this morning he finds it on the dining room table, which is actually for the first time not piled with junk. And he finds it in the radio equipment he used the night before. He finds it this morning.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it just appeared out. We've had stuff happening around here lately that it's like, okay, what did we bring home? Who came home with us? But then we have haunted items. So.
You don't mess with a paranormal investigator's equipment. Hell no.
Especially one who's like me. Now, Kris was really sweet, and she got me a new recorder about a year ago.
And he hates it.
And I hate it. She got it because it has the USB port in it. I can plug it right in. It's a great Sony. It's a phenomenal recorder. Very similar to the one that I've been carrying forever, but it's not the one that I carried forever.
Just different enough he can't figure out the buttons on it.
I'm a creature of habit.
But he doesn't upload his EVPs often enough. And
so
he's had to change computers. So he keeps all his EVPs on that recorder. Even the ones he uploads, he keeps on the recorder. And he's like, that's gone. All my good EVPs are gone. The one from Shepherdstown. And he's rattling off EVPs. And I'm like, oh, babe, it's going to show up. And sure enough, today it shows up on the dining room table.
I think she had it hidden on me.
Yeah, I'm sitting in a chair with my leg up.
Yeah, I know. With your broken leg. You hobbled around. You did that to me.
Yeah, I snuck around quietly with the walker.
Dang. Well, what is your opinion about, so many paranormal TV shows? And, do you think it's helping or hurting the paranormal field?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I think there's some really good ones out there. I also believe there are some that are purely casted. They come up with an idea, they find some random Joe off the street and say, we want you to play a paranormal investigator. And that's the reality of it. There's some that are doing a whole lot of damage and throw around the demon word constantly. Every place has a demon. The ethics that I've seen on that one really tick me off, so I refuse to watch it. But then there's a couple of really good ones out there that are truly Dev Files. Absolutely love Dev Files. You've got a different aspect where you've got the medium going in and she's giving her impressions of what she's getting, and then you've got
Steve
Deshavi doing research and looking things up, and they're able to sometimes verify some of that, sometimes not. You've got Ghost Hunters. They're a really good show. I'd like to one day see a show that shows
the real side
of being a paranormal investigator and everything that goes with it.
It's not Taco Bell.
Yeah. The fact that we do an investigation, if we're at a place for 3 days and we're staying there and we've got DVRs running and we've got 8 cameras And then we have all the recorders, the handheld cameras, the photographic cameras and cell phones. That's all stuff you have to go through. So if you have 8 DVR cameras recording 72 hours each, well, that's
a lot of hours.
24 days of watching DVR footage if you watch nonstop, because you have to review each camera, and that's mind-numbing. And then listening to all the EVPs. Thankfully, we do a lot of record playback, but there's always at least one recorder recording continuously through an investigation. So sitting there and listening to static and random noise and talking, waiting for that one thing to come through is mind-numbing. And the preparation it takes to go into it, and packing and unpacking equipment. And, we've got probably 15 cases of equipment that we load into our vehicle every time we go out on to a new location.
Because you never know what you're going to need.
Right. We take everything with us because we may need it. And we do a lot of events, so we let people use our equipment. So we're hauling all of that stuff. We get pulled up to Lord Baltimore, and 2 valet carts and my wheelchair, and the car was finally ready to be moved by valet, but stuff stacked high.
Oh yeah, the duffel bag. Yeah, that's our clothes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, where do you think the future of the paranormal and the supernatural world is heading?
It completely depends on when teams start to grow the fuck up. Once everyone starts to come together and collaborate and share evidence and say, when we were at this location at this time, we got these readings. And this was, we had a full moon, we had this, that, and the other thing. And, we did too at a different date, but same situation. And at this time, we got the same kind of response. Or right now, there's a couple people who are working on the range of megahertz that EVPs come through at. And do they all come through at that frequency in that range? Until we all start sharing that information and stop acting like a bunch of junior high school kids in the locker room, it's not going to go anywhere until everyone grows up and starts comparing information and truly treating it like a science. And that's the only time we're going to progress, and the only time people are going to take us seriously.
Well, see, even if that would happen, which I agree with you 100%, even in the science world, like with climate change, 99 or 97% of all the scientists that say climate change is a real thing and it's happening, you still got that 3% that's saying no, but everybody wants to keep on that 3% and say, well, it's easier to go with the no than actually do the hard work to make things better. And I think it works with the paranormal world too.
Yeah, it's harder to prove it than to say it isn't real. I look at creationism over evolutionism. You still have, even with all the evidence of evolution and dinosaurs and evolution and how things change, you still have people who believe 100% in creationism, and there is no evolution. That just one day man was put on this earth, and that's how we came about. Science says otherwise.
Well, to me, I think it's where people are getting dumber, and I don't mean to offend anybody, but our education system sucks. Back early 1900s, people were so smart, even though they were poor and couldn't go to school, they educated themselves, or they were trained somehow, and they believed in science and worked towards science and engineering. And that's like today, you got these flat earthers. It boggles my damn mind how you can say the earth is flat when you can look at the moon and see it's round. You can look at the sun and see it's round.
Well, now see, we're seeing the flat side of it.
Yeah, of course.
It's like a
I
pancake.
also heard that they said that the stars in the sky are just lights in the sky. It's like, what?
Yeah, but everyone, so many people are going to have different beliefs. But you're right. We're getting, as a whole, people are becoming dumber. The education system is a waste. They're erasing history. Look what they're doing with the Confederate statues at Gettysburg and other places. They're taking them down. They're removing history. They're removing it from the history books. I don't think they even teach history in school anymore.
No.
So
everybody's offended.
Everyone's offended by everything. So let's not teach the truth. Yeah, there's some hard truths in our history. There was a lot of shit done for pointless reasons.
Yeah, and this is how we learn, though. We learn not to repeat those mistakes. But, in the paranormal, we need to get along. We need to, we need to communicate.
Right.
We need to have that open communication. And, we're a pseudoscience. But we also have to realize that, I always say this, modern medicine is a pseudoscience, too.
Exactly.
Yes.
A lot of people put a lot of time, money, and energy into the work they do, whether it's paranormal or any type of research. And to have the naysayers just constantly hammering you and causing all this drama, you put in a little bit of this work, you put a little bit of time in, and you see what it's like, and then you step back and judge.
Right.
That's my opinion. I didn't mean to jump in.
No.
Right. Hey, it's your show.
Yeah, your show. Do whatever the hell you want. We'll shut up if you want. Hell.
That's all right. I don't want to get on the soapbox. I've been on the soapbox all damn week, and I better not.
I always say to Bill, the easiest guests are the ones who are willing to talk.
Well, what is your opinion, about how an investigator should, or paranormal group, help a client, that's having paranormal activity in their home?
Oh, well, again, that depends on every case. Mm-hmm. But when you go into someone's home, you need to understand that you are not just a paranormal investigator. While you're there, you are part therapist, you are part friend, you're sounding board,
detective,
confessional, you're a detective, you're so many facets. And they say there's no professionals in the paranormal.
You need to go in and be professional.
You can be professional without being a professional. And you need to go in and respect that home, respect the people in it, no matter how crazy they seem. You need to give them respect and understand that you are in their home and you can't leave things worse than when you came.
Yep, you're entering their life.
Sometimes you have to hand someone the name and number of a therapist in their area because, you recognize that they aren't having a haunting, they're having a manic episode. And you may need to recommend therapy for them. Sometimes you go into a home where you need to walk out and call animal welfare or child welfare because you've just walked into this house where, the dogs are running loose, crapping on everything, and the kids are locked in the dog cages.
Yeah.
That's when you need to make a phone call. You have to be responsible, and sometimes you have to make a hard decision and call someone to get them help. And sometimes you just go do your job and make sure you fill them in on what you got. There's a reason they brought you in. Don't walk away and say, we'll call you in a month, and then never talk to them again.
Rodney?
Rodney.
Hello?
Did Rodney hang up on us? Hello, hello? He got bored.
I guess so.
He went to sleep. Shit. Hello? I don't know.
You're listening to Within the Chaos and special guest Bill and Kris R.E.A.P. Your host tonight is Rodney Shortridge.
And next week we'll be having, I don't know because it's not our show. We don't even know if you can hear us or if you can hear Rodney or whatever's going on. But we can't hear anything now. So, yeah, Bill's going to message Rodney here and see if he can hear us or what happened.
It was a great answer to the question.
It was. And while we were at Lord Baltimore, we had that guy who lost his glasses.
Oh, yeah, that was crazy.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Oh, we hear you now.
Could you hear us?
Hi, welcome back.
Well, I couldn't hear you. I couldn't hear you all or nothing. Sometimes this rarely happens, but it's already happened twice this year. It'll give me this beep, and then I can't hear or no one can hear me, and then I have to call in on my cell phone.
Well, welcome to Within the Chaos. Your special guests are Bill and Kris R.E.A.P. The host tonight is the lovely and talented Rodney Shortridge.
And looks great.
Thank you. Thank y'all for having me.
So we were just talking about the Lord Baltimore where we were this weekend, and one of our guests, he travels a lot. So at the end of the night, he puts like typical guys who wear hats, put his glasses in his hat, his wallet in his hat, his keys in the hat, and he got up in the morning, got his keys and got his wallet, put on his hat, and realized he didn't have his glasses. Could not find his glasses. Searched the room. He and his wife tore it apart because he can't see without his glasses.
And as a true paranormal investigator, videotaped his room.
And he came down, told us about it. And sometime after dinner, he came back down with his glasses on. And he said, we went back up to the room. And as we're going up in the elevator, I was like, please, if you took my glasses, please let them be back in the room, somewhere obvious. I really can't see without my glasses. If you would be so kind to return them. And they walked in the room, and they were in the middle of the floor.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lord Baltimore Hotel, a lot of activity, but one thing that really blows my mind, the activity that we got there, and this is our second time back. We were there for World Ghost Hunting Day last year, and had the largest crowd for ever World Ghost Hunting had.
Just shy of 90 people.
Yeah, 90 people investigating it.
And there was a wedding going on.
But that's the thing. This hotel is, when we talk about active, it's open. You have the Sky Bar up on the roof. You have the restaurant. You have, the hotel guests. You have events going on there. And here we are investigating different locations within the hotel, that are away from where everybody is. And amazing evidence. And, it's like, wow, just, the energy that's there and the spirits that are there and the spirits that came to visit the wedding or came to do this coming through or coming through on people that were there. We had a dowsing rod session in the speakeasy that was there this past weekend that brought tears to my eyes on a couple that was there who had lost a child in childbirth. And this woman was asking questions, and the dowsing rods, she was holding the dowsing rods, and she says, if this is my child, give me a hug. And the rod spun right to her.
One of the things I like about the fact that the Lord Baltimore is open and functioning, and there are people moving in and out of there constantly, and it's in a city, and it's near water.
Yep.
Is all that energy, and you don't know what's
roof.
coming through the hotel. People are coming in to go to the bar. People are coming in and staying, and there may be spirits attached to any number of these people. And so you never know what you're going to get while you're there.
And it is number 3 of the top 15 haunted hotels in Oprah magazine, and we were there. I mean, it's amazing.
It sounds like it.
And our team will be back for World Ghost Hunting Day in September.
Yep.
Cool.
Our team will actually this time.
Okay. Well, have either one of you all had any experiences other than paranormal, stuff such as crypto, Bigfoot, or any UFO encounters?
No UFO. Not me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Bill's looking at me like there
I had
might
a
have
flash
been
in the sky once that a bunch of people saw, but nothing definitive that was like, ooh, it's a UFO. But Kris had an experience
just down the street from our house, less than a quarter mile away. I was going down the road. It was just about dusk, and there's this huge house off to my left, and I'm not quite to that property line yet, and something big, 3 steps across the road into the woods. It was dark, it was tall, it was moving fast, big strides, and as I get up to where it was, I'm looking, and there's no sign of anything, and two sides of my brain are fighting each other, because I believe in Bigfoot. I know they're out there. I just know without a doubt they're out there. And so that part of my brain's like, oh, yes, oh my God. And the other part of my brain's going, yeah, right.
Yeah.
It took me 3 weeks before I told Bill about it, because part of my brain was going, okay, you're just going to sound downright crazy. And the other part's going, no, it was there. But really? It was there? That's right near home.
No, but we've gone out. We were this past summer. We were out in Vermont, and we went with Katie Elizabeth, who heads up Champ Research on Lake Champlain in Vermont.
Yep.
And
Champ.
she took us out to one of her points where she goes and looks, and she had some experiences, and we went out with her. I mean, we're open to anything. I mean, there's some interesting places that we're thinking about hitting. Rick Fisher, who's a really good friend of ours, had talked to us about a location up in New York, some rock formations and stuff that we definitely want to go out and check those out. I mean, we do a lot of side trips. When we're coming back from places, we'll look for different things that possibly could be. The space acorn. Yep, we went and saw the space acorn, which there was a UFO landing in Pennsylvania. We went there. We went to Mr. Rogers' grave. Did a EVP session there, and Kris got a great EVP in his voice. His inflection, the whole thing.
Yeah, that was really cool.
So I mean, you need to be open to anything, and life is a journey. Life enjoy. You got, you never know where you're going to be or where, who you're going to come to. Talk to the local people. That was one thing I enjoyed, and I told you this when we left Phantom Fest, and why we said we would definitely be back, was the locals who came out and to sit and listen to their stories and listen to the that local legend or their feelings on things. And whenever we're in a location, we go out into the local restaurants, the small little places, and we'll talk to people. I mean, they know, oh, you're those ghost hunters, here you are, yep. And we get talk to them and get information. And I mean, like the pizza delivery guy, when we ordered pizza at the Bel Air house, and he's like, I ain't going in there. People just drive by this place. They'll go a mile out of their way. They won't drive by it. They just go around, so they don't have to pass it.
It's a long ways around.
So you got to go out. You got to talk to the people. You got to do your local research. You got to have a really good researcher. You got to, you have to have a team that you just work well together. And you have that synergy with your team, and we're blessed to have that with our team. And we just go forward and do what we do.
I appreciate it. I know everybody down here loves you all. And speaking of Fan Fest, y'all gonna be speakers again this year. Gonna be back down here in November.
We're gonna be there in November.
Oh, didn't I tell you? We're parking the camper in that parking lot.
Okay. Boondock.
We're boondock in the parking lot for the weekend.
We're going boondock. We're going one side of Virginia to the other in November.
Although that means I got to drive on that damn stretch of highway.
Yep.
Traffic just stopped for no reason whatsoever.
Yep. Oh, what traffic jam? Why? I don't know.
I don't get road rage. I'm the one that sits back and goes, okay, turn up the music. Sit back, relax. Bitching ain't going to get us anywhere. This coming home, traffic would just stop. And then all of a sudden, 60, 70 miles an hour again. And I had the worst case of road rage.
Yeah, we'll be on both sides of the state in November.
Yes, we will.
Yep. 1 week at Fanton Fest, the following week in Virginia Beach. We get the best of both worlds.
Virginia Beach. I got to be on Highway 64. I hate that highway. Slow down, people.
Yeah, they act like the world's ending. Woo.
Oh, it's crazy.
Well, seeing how we're almost out of time,
no way.
Do y'all have any? What are your plans for the rest of 2019? And also, you mentioned you have a book, and how can people get a copy of your book? And any projects or anything that you're working on that you can discuss?
Sure.
Well, Bill's book, you can call me and PayPal me directly.
You can go to reapinvestigations.com. The book is on there. Or you could see us at any of the events that we're doing. We're going to be at Phantom Fest in November, local to all you fine people in Virginia. We're going to be at the Rochester Winter Power Fest this weekend. So you can come out and see us there and, meet some of the team. And then we are at Essex, Maryland at the end of the month. We're going to be there end of March. We'll be doing an event down there and an investigation. We're also going to be at the beginning of March. We'll be at the Haunted Relic Expo in West Virginia, Moundsville, West Virginia, with the guys from the Museum of the Afterlife. Will be there.
I'm hoping to be walking by then.
We'll be in Salem Con.
In April.
We'll be at Salem Con in Salem, Mass. We're going to be at SilCon in Illinois. We're going to be at Three Sisters Tea House doing an investigation there in Missouri. We'll be joining Jay and Marie Yates and Michelle LeBaron and some other great people out Eric Knapp and some others out in Arizona for an investigation out at the Vulture Mine.
It's gotten to the point I don't know where we are until I wake up and turn on my GPS.
Yeah, we're going to be all over. We're going to be in Maine. We're going to be traveling the entire. We're going to be in Nevada. We're going to be in California. We're going to be Virginia. We got stuff in Florida. We got stuff coming up in Georgia. So we're going to be up and down the East Coast and cutting across to the West Coast. So follow us on Facebook, R.E.A.P Investigations, R.E.A.P Investigation Events, or you could just follow us on our webpage, reapinvestigations.com, and there's always a list of where we're going to be. You never know where we're going to be.
No, neither do we.
Neither do we. We won't be home.
Well, we will. We'll be hauling our house behind us.
Yes, we're going to go on an adventure to drive an RV for a couple of years out on the road just investigating.
Yeah, y'all sound like me when I used to drive a truck. Never knew where I was going to be.
Yep.
Well, Bill, Kris, it's such an honor, to finally get y'all on the show, and I think
ours.
Yeah, we had a blast. We were looking forward to this.
Oh, I was looking forward to it too. It's so much easier to have a show with people that they're like-minded, and you can shoot the shit with them, and it's not so robotic.
Yeah, no doubt. And there aren't a lot of people we'd stay up till midnight for when we have to be up at the crack of dawn.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. I do feel special now.
How I great.
No, thank you very much for having us. We're looking forward to coming back down to be with you guys in November.
Who knows?
We're looking forward to
dinner.
You never know.
Well, we'll probably got a few more plans, and everything's still in the beginning stages. I'm just now getting speakers out, and hopefully we got a few other things special lined up in the next few months. So I'm just going to start dripping it out and keep everybody anticipating.
There you go. Leave them wanting more.
That's right. Leave them wanting more. That's what I was taught in school, but nobody ever came back for more. So.
So mark your calendars. November 2nd, get your asses down to
Phantom
Fest.
Yep, in Lebanon, Virginia, at the Russell County Community Center. I think that's what it's called. Conference Center, something like that.
Oh, that place was awesome.
Well, Bill, and Kris, I'll let y'all go. And again, thank you. I appreciate it. It was such an honor, and I can't wait to see you all in a few months. And if y'all need anything, give me a yell, and y'all be careful out there on the road.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
okay,
so
y'all
much. Great night.
Y'all have a great night, too. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Oh, everybody, that was Bill and Kris. R.E.A.P of R.E.A.P Investigations. Again, nothing but respect for these two. Love them to death. They're great friends, great people. Get a chance to meet them or talk to them, definitely give them a ring or a message or something. But for next Thursday night, February 28th, our special guest will be another good friend of mine, medium, remote viewer, paranormal investigator, Dennis S. Block. So everyone have a great weekend, have a great night, and nothing but love for you all.
That's it for us tonight. I want to thank everyone that took the time to listen in. I'd like to give a big shout out to the Vibe Radio Network and to Ryan for putting up with us. Also to all the first responders and our men and women in the armed services. Thank you for your service and the sacrifices that you and your families make every day to keep our great nation safe. Tune in next week to another exciting show starting at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Everyone can go to our Facebook page Within the Chaos, and don't forget to like our page to see upcoming guests along with past shows, postings, or you can also go to my website at www.blackdiamondps.org or blogtalkradio.com/Vibe Radio Network. Also, we have a YouTube channel, so go to YouTube, look up Within the Chaos for past shows. Thanks again. Until next week, everyone have a safe weekend and have a good night. And love you all. Be careful out there.
I'm sorry, but I don't want to be an emperor. That's not my business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another, Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world, there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls, has barricaded the world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent, and all will be lost. The aeroplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world, millions of despairing men, women, and little children, victims of a system that makes men torture and imprison innocent people. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, or what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines, you are not cattle, you are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate, only the unloved hate, the unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery, fight for liberty. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you. You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world, a decent world, that will give men a chance to work, that will give youth a future and old age a security. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They do not fulfill that promise. They never will. Dictators free themselves, but they enslave the people. Now let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us fight to free the world, to do away with national barriers, to do away with greed, with hate and intolerance. Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite!
So you're ready to ask the biggest question of your life, the only question before that question. How do you find the perfect ring to ask it with? With the incredible selection of diamonds at Jared and our price match guarantee, you can dare to stop searching and find the perfect diamond at a price you'll love. Visit your local Jared store today and dare to be devoted.
We promise to match any price on a like-loose certified diamond of the same quality from any other jewelry retailer. See jared.com/price match for details.
So you're ready to ask the biggest question of your life, the only question before that question. How do you find the perfect ring to ask it with? With the incredible selection of diamonds at Jared and our price match guarantee, you can dare to stop searching and find the perfect diamond at a price you'll love. Visit your local Jared store today and dare to be devoted.
We promise to match any price on a like-loose certified diamond of the same quality from any other jewelry retailer. See jared.com/price match for details.